Welcome, welcome. I'm prepping for Thanksgiving and I'm doing it LA style. I'm in LA this year for the first time being away for Thanksgiving in a long time. So I'm visiting my daughter, hubby, and two grandkids. And I got my oldest granddaughter will be joining us for dinner. But I'm prepping a little early because I'm going to be leaving out the day after Thanksgiving. So this year I'm going to start making cornbread, and I have my butter, which I'm going to melt in the skillet. So she has a gas stove and I have electric. So I have had a gas stove in the past, so I'm familiar with gas cooking, and either way it's going to get done. And right here in this container, I've already prepped for my dressing. I got onions in here, I got green peppers, and I got celery. Hopefully all this container is going to hold in this skillet. It's not a big skillet for all this, but you know how these vegetables cook down as they start sauteing. So this is what I do, and I've always done, is saute my vegetables to prepare for my cornbread. So I'm going to let this butter melt down a little. Then I'm going to pour all my vegetables in the skillet for the dressing. And this is going to be a vegan, half vegan Thanksgiving dinner because I have vegans, vegetarians, and allergies. So, vegetarian baked beans. And other things that I generally put in, I'm changing around. I'm using cream of celery instead of cream of chicken. And I may use cream of mushroom soup also in my dressing. So those are a couple things that I'm getting ready to prepare. And I'm starting a couple days early because, you know, when you have so much to do, it really cuts down on your time and you don't have to really cook on Thanksgiving Day. That's something I've never enjoyed doing. I like to have all my dinner done on Thanksgiving so I can enjoy my family and company. So that's just about melting down. Got the butter melting down, and I think I can go ahead and pour my vegetables, kind of mixing them up there. And these vegetables were done by a food processor. I like to use a food processor because it makes it much easier to prepare your vegetables. You don't have to sit and chop and cut. There's a couple big pieces. I think I better get me a paper plate. I have my professional photographer, my daughter, who knows all about filming, and she's on the camera. And this is something she does pretty regularly. Okay, I'm getting these big pieces out of here. So I may have to chop them up a little more. That's okay. They don't have to be perfect. But here's the vegetables, onions, and like I say, this is all going to cook down. And as they cook, I'm going to put a little seasoning on them. Salt, pepper, garlic powder, and I might have to skip the poultry seasoning this year. I'm going to add some salt. And just season a little bit of everything as you go along. Season the vegetables. And generally I would put sage and poultry seasoning. This is a little bit of garlic salt. I'm going to add that. And I am looking for
Look to the far left.
the pepper.
The left side.
This side. All right. You know, when you're not in your own kitchen, you've got to.
There might be some sage
I
stuff
might
out there.
have to have the photographer check this one out. Okay. So, here it goes. It's cooking down. And celery and onion smell so good when they cook. That blend and that aroma just goes all through your house and the flavor. Here's another big onion.
What did you do with the jewelry that was here?
It's in the cup, I'll tell you. It's right over there. Okay. I am still looking for. And there, I've got my oven set at 400 for the cornbread. And I'm going to do the cornbread, and I'm going to do the vegetables tonight. And then tomorrow, I'm going to assemble my dressing, you know, crunch up the cornbread, add the vegetables, add my other ingredients. Here's another big piece. See, once this cooks down, as you can see, it kind of melts down. And these vegetables are going to cook soft. And once they are cooked soft, then they'll be ready to go. Even though I'm not going to put the vegetables in the cornbread, I think I'm going to put them right back in this container and refrigerate them for tomorrow. And then I'll be 2 steps ahead of myself. Welcome back. Now I've got the vegetables sauteing as I had explained earlier, and I put a lid on them. That way that steam is going to stay in there, because celery does have a crunchiness if it's not done. So in my dressing, I like all the vegetables cook well. So now we're going to mix up this cornbread. And don't judge me, because a lot of people use different things for their dressing. They use yellow cornmeal, they use white cornmeal, Aunt Bessie's cornmeal, or Bessie's, or white cornmeal. But I have always used the plain, simple, Jiffy cornbread mix. Anytime you put all your different seasonings in there, your sage, your poetry, which I'm going to just add sage this year, because like I say, I have a vegan family that I'm cooking for out here in LA. I'm away from Ohio. So I've already dumped 3 boxes of cornmeal, and I'm going to use 4 boxes. So I'm dumping this last box of cornmeal into the bowl. So that's 4 boxes of Jiffy mix that I'm using. And I have 4 cage-free eggs. That's part of the vegan style cooking.
Well, no, Hannah won't eat the one with the eggs.
All right.
She won't do any eggs.
Right, she won't do any eggs, but
Please
I can
be
say
good.
I'm going to make a bread dressing
milk.
tomorrow for her. But all in well, it's going to come out delicious. Trust me. All right. Some people mix their eggs up before they put it in there, and I can do that. eggs.
Do you
in.
normally put them directly in?
You can. Some people like to put their eggs in the bowl and mix them up before they pour them in the cornbread. That way, if they do get shells, which I have one right now in the bowl, I can pull the shell out and it's not down in the cornbread. So I need a spoon or a fork.
Wait, the egg has
Okay.
an allergy.
Okay. You're very careful. The fork maybe work. Not cross-contaminating anything, the eggs. And one thing that people do forget is to honor that people do have allergies and people do not like eggs if they're vegan. So now I got that shell out. I'm mixing this up. That was a reason to mix the eggs separately, so I don't get shells all in the, and some people like to take that membrane out, but there isn't any in there, the little white membrane. So here we go. Eggs in. And of course, when you're making Jiffy, you put 1 egg to 1 box. So I have 4 eggs, 4 boxes. And 1/3 cup of milk for each box. This is reduced fat milk. You can put any whole milk, skim milk if that's what you usually use, whatever you prefer. Everybody cooks different. That was 2, right? 3. 1 more. And sometimes I always add a little bit more milk if it seems to be a little dry. So I'm mixing all this up, the eggs and the milk. Got the oven temperature set at 400 degrees. It's already heating up. And I'm mixing all this cornbread together. I better check my vegetables because I don't want them to burn. I turned the fire down a little low and they're cooking great. I'm even going to lower it a little more so the vegetables don't burn. Mixing this all up. Let's throw that away. At home, I usually clean up as I go because my kitchen is much smaller than my daughter's LA kitchen. She's got one of those nice kitchens that I would love to have. Okay, we got this all mixed up. Like I say, it's going to be a little lumpy, but that's okay. Because after this is brown, we're going to crunch it up anyway. So, if there's lumps, it's okay. Getting the size. And I've already got my pan grease. I got canola oil I'm using this time. And it's been greased. The sides and the bottom has been greased. Okay. Now this is ready to go in the pan, in the oven at 400 degrees. We got our 4 eggs, 4 boxes of Jiffy mix, and 1/3 cup of milk to each box of cornmeal. Here it goes in the pan. The This is a bigger pan, but that's okay. It's all gonna come out the same. Just have to watch it since it's a bigger pan and it's spread a little bit. That it doesn't get done too soon or undercooked or whatever. Now we're just kind of getting it a little even. Getting it spread in the pan. Where it's all even in the pan all the way across. We'll clean up our mess as we go along after we get everything situated. And in the oven the cornbread goes. And I'm going to put it in the middle rack. 20 minutes to 25 minutes, and we'll keep a watch on it so it doesn't get too overdone. All right, we'll go to the next stage. Hello, back again. Our vegetables are all cooked down. Got the green peppers, the celery and the onions. And like I say, I'm gonna put them in this container. And I'm not going to assemble the dressing with the vegetables and the other ingredients until tomorrow. I'm just getting a little step ahead. The vegetables came out nice and tender. Like I say, there they are. That should be plenty for the cornbread. And here's the lid. I'm gonna leave the lid off, let that steam and heat come out. Then I'm gonna, after this cools off, I'm gonna refrigerate them until tomorrow. They should be fine for the cornbread. All right, we're gonna check the cornbread. As I said, I was prepping tonight to make the dressing tomorrow. The cornbread is looking amazing. It's cooking okay. And see, you can't even tell the lumps that were in there. It smells amazing. So we're gonna just do the cornbread tonight. And we got the vegetables, sauteed vegetables, celery, onions, green pepper, cooling down to refrigerate. And the next thing I think I'm gonna just go ahead and prepare. So I have one less thing out of the way. I'm not gonna cook the baked beans tonight. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna season them. And I'm going to cover them up because it's kind of late in the evening that I got started. And it would take these baked beans a little while to cool down to refrigerate. But hopefully this container is big enough for these 3 cans. I'm not going to make an abundance of baked beans, but my baked beans are always done on top of the stove, believe it or not. And people like them. So you can cook your baked beans in the oven, and you can put your bacon in there or whatever. Like I say, I have vegetarians, and so this is vegetarian baked beans, and they have tomato sauce, brown sugar, and spices. But I'm going to add some other things to these baked beans. Hopefully this container is going to hold these. This is a plastic container, and we definitely wouldn't put that in the oven or keep these beans in a plastic container. But like I say, I'm just getting them ready and prepping them for tomorrow. And all I have to do is pour them in the pot to get them cooked. Got 3 cans of Bush's baked beans. And you know Bush is popular. But you know, they have Bush baked beans in all varieties. You can get with the onions in them. And sometimes I put my own slivers of thinly sliced onions in them. Some people like to cook their baked beans with green peppers. Some people even like to crunch up a hamburger which is good. They're hamburger, onions, and green pepper. So what I put in my baked beans, not gonna measure it, but I put at least a teaspoon to a tablespoon of mustard. I add some ketchup. I don't measure it. Stir that up. That mustard gives it a good tangy flavor. And once I add the sugar, it may take these beans to the top. I may not even put all this sugar in there. It's a cup of sugar because they do have sugar, but I do like my baked beans sweet. So that was a cup of sugar. And I'm going to add a little bit of brown sugar. Give it that molasses taste. Mixing all this together, the white sugar, the brown sugar, the mustard, teaspoon to a tablespoon, and also ketchup. And you can use Heinz ketchup or whatever kind of ketchup you want. Some people even put barbecue sauce in their baked beans. So everybody has their own style and way of cooking. But nevertheless, the way I cook mine, the family seems to always like them, that style. I think I got all the beans out. And all this flavor is just going to settle on these beans and make them a lot more flavorful. We'll rinse these cans out. And get them thrown away tomorrow. So all these beans are going to be ready for tomorrow to be put in the pot to cook. So if I were to cook them tonight, they'd be too hot and I'd have to stay up even longer to cool them to go in the refrigerator. And I could have done them tomorrow, but I'm thinking that flavor is going to just go right off through those beans. So there's the beans, the sauteed vegetables that are cooling to go in the refrigerator, and the cornbread is getting done. And I'm going to have these peppers that I've started to pull out. They're going to go in some fried cabbage. So I want to make the cabbage colorful. I'm going to put some red, yellow peppers, onions, and season them, and saute that cabbage. So we're waiting on the cornbread, in and out. Cornbread's done, and it looks good. Just checking to see. And it is a clean toothpick, so it is done in the center. And like I say, I got the vegetables prepped. I'm going to use the vegetable broth, fat-free, for the broth. And I got some cream of celery, and I may use cream of mushrooms soup. Also, I have that. But it's going to be a little different this year. And then we'll put it back in the oven for a little bit, cover it, and then it'll be done, ready for Thanksgiving Day. All right, see you later. Bye-bye. Welcome back to Char's Thanksgiving LA style, vegan and vegetarian and some allergies. So we are having like a smorgasbord kind of meal for 3 different types of allergies and healthy eating. But anyway, as we started yesterday, prepping for the cornbread dressing. The cornbread's done. The vegetables got done, and the baked beans were done also. So we kind of put it together. Today I am going to fry cabbage, and I got the cabbage already cut up, and I've also got some red peppers, onions, yellow peppers, And I'm gonna add that to the fried cabbage. Right now, I got some chicken I'm gonna put in a skillet. I've got the chicken started, and I've already taken the flour and added to the bag. I season the flour with my garlic salt, my pepper, and my other seasonings that I use. So I got it shook them up, and flouring them, and I got some of it in the skillet already. So I've got to add a couple more, and we can get that started. Hopefully I can get them all in. I only have 2 pieces. Maybe I can squeeze them in without having to wait until they all get done. One more. I should have got a bit bigger skillet, and I'm hoping that this will work. I can arrange them in there. That should work. Gonna put the lid on them and turn my fire up. Gonna start them on a medium high so they can brown. I've already got the oil. I put a little bit of butter in there. And the chicken is just gonna cook itself. I'm just gonna watch it, make sure it turns golden brown. This skillet here is gonna be for my cabbage. And I've got the oil, not much oil, because I don't want the cabbage to be oily. I've got the butter, and I've got a little oil in there, see? It's probably about a tablespoon of oil. I'm just going to add a little bit of water, and I'm going to watch it, and I may have to add just a little bit of water on top, and maybe some more butter, and I'm going to add the seasonings as I get them cooked down a little bit. Okay, so we're going to turn this on to medium high so the butter can just melt a little bit, so I can start adding the cabbage into the skillet. It's a lot of cabbage, so I'm gonna have to add it, hoping I can get as much cabbage in as possible, because I do have 2 bowls of cabbage here. And as you know, when you cook cabbage, it cooks down. It's gonna sink down. This seems like a lot, but you know, once this cooks down, it starts shrinking. You know, it may end up being 1 bowl, but this is going to be a fried cabbage. I'm going to add my seasonings. I'm going to add some minced garlic.
That was 2 heads. That was 2 heads?
That was 2 heads of cabbage. Yes, 2 heads of cabbage. Absolutely. So, this is cooking. Well, this is melting. Also, in the oven, I went on ahead because I'm having chicken, and I got a very small ham. At home, I would have a huge ham in Ohio. Back home, that's what I would be cooking. But since I'm in LA and we got a lot of non-meat eaters, it's only a few people, maybe 2, 3, and I'm going to be leaving out. So I did not make a whole ham. This is perfect. As you can see, I went ahead and started the ham, and it's a small ham, and it's already pre-sliced. So when that ham starts getting close to done, I have some pineapple tiblets I may add, and I also have some brown sugar glazed ham. I might possibly put some of this on it. And then I'll put it back and let it kind of glaze itself. But the ham is in. It's a cute little ham. And when you have a lot of people coming, that may not be enough, but it's just perfect for out here in LA, my LA family. Okay, I'm just gonna cover it back up. And also in here, it's not a whole turkey. And I'm used to cooking a great big old turkey. And what I do is I put my turkey in about around 10 or 11 o'clock. And I let my turkey at home cook all night. I get up in the morning and it's done. It's nice golden brown. And I usually put onions, celery.
So when you cook it all night, do you have to make sure you have so much liquid or something so it doesn't
Not
dry?
a lot of liquid. I put a lot. I cook it. I turn the temperature down to about 250, and I cover it with the lid. I cover it with foil. I cover it with my lid, and I put enough broth in there, and I turn my temperature low, and I get up early so I can check it. And once I get up early at home, I take the broth and pour it on top of the turkey. But what I do, and I learned that by trial and error, I take and cover the legs and the wings with foil so they don't get done and brown too much. And what I'll do, if they're not brown, I'll take the foil off so the turkey can continue to brown. But usually it is nice and golden brown in the morning.
Is it the legs and the wings so they don't dry out?
I cover them so they don't dry out with foil.
Before the
That way, when
thickness of
it's
the
cooking,
chest
the
gets-
heat doesn't take over the that part, because they cook faster than the turkey itself. But in this container, I have. You'll have me a pie holder back there. I'll take it, set it out so they can see what I've done to this chicken breast. And it's starting to smell good already with the seasonings. But the turkey breast has been seasoned. I've got the celery and potatoes around it. And I put a little bit of oil on the turkey breast, put some seasoning on it, and just added a teensy bit of water because the juice from the fat is going. And I put the fat side up. So that's that. I may need to take and get a spoon and put a little bit of I'm going to add a little bit of this broth on the potatoes.
You want me to shuffle this so the heat stays?
And this turkey breast came with a pouch of gravy that I can use. Nice little pouch of gravy. And I could have added some carrots to this also. But I'm gonna.
Is the gravy already on, or you do that at the
The
end?
gravy is not on. I'm gonna do that later. But I'm gonna put this back in the oven. And let it cook. Let it cook it for about an hour and a half. This turkey breast was 5 pounds. Okay.
Oh.
Back in the oven it'll go. This will be plenty of meat with the turkey breast, the ham, and the chicken. And I may take and barbecue this chicken, possibly. That's what I'll do. I got the chicken cooking, and I turn it up high so it'll brown, start to brown, and then I will flip it over.
Now the cabbage.
The cabbage I do have, I'll start that or either show you. I like to maybe get these sweet potatoes into the oven. These sweet potatoes are called Priscilla's sweet potatoes. And I took all the broth and poured it into this pot. Took all the broth off the potatoes, since I am not making sweet potatoes from scratch. Took all the broth off and I put it into this pot. I added some cinnamon and brown sugar. And I greased this casserole dish.
When you say the broth, like what came in the can, you just like
Yeah,
the
this-
liquid?
This broth that came in the can, I made it thick, made a sauce out of it, a thickening sauce. As you can see how it caramelized and it's thick. This sauce that's in this pot is going to be poured over the sweet potatoes. So I put the sweet potatoes in, and this is 4 cans of small sweet potatoes. And I added cinnamon on top of them, sprinkled a little bit of brown sugar, and added some butter. And all I have to do now is pour this sauce over it. The sauce is going to go over. The butter's going to melt. And it's going to caramelize these, and I'm going to stick them in the oven so they can bake not long, maybe about 20 minutes to half an hour. I get all the sauce on it. Smells good. So I got the butter.
Asking questions for the non-cooks like me that don't know anything.
Well, this is the purpose. I've always said that I wanted to make a video because when you have daughters, you have grandchildren, they want to learn how to cook. I've written recipes down, and I wish that I had done the same, learned from my grandmother Sarah, passed away years ago. I was very young. But even though my grandma Sarah passed away, I wish my aunt and my mother would have written down her recipes, because they had a little store and restaurant, and they sold pies and sweet potato pies. And as I got older, I heard people say, your grandma Sarah and your family, I had pretty good cooks in my family.
I didn't know that they had a store.
So if I had their recipes to add to my recipes, you pass the baton on and pass them down as traditions. And I learned a lot as I got married. The more you cook, the better you get. So that's the purpose of cooking something over and over. When I first got married, all I knew how to cook was spaghetti. If you came to my house, you got spaghetti. And they say, oh, you make the best
Mine is
spaghetti.
enchiladas.
I had a lot of practice making spaghetti. So I made spaghetti, and I still make spaghetti, but not as often. And people say, you have the best spaghetti. I said, I had a lot of practice making spaghetti. For sure. But in the oven, these sweet potatoes are going to go. So if you have the opportunity to learn how to cook and get recipes from family, your mother, your grandmother, your aunties, your cousins, or even uncles or grandpa. We have some male cooks that know how to cook.
Yeah. And don't do like I did, and because people in your family can cook, sit back and just enjoy, and then I don't learn.
Don't just enjoy the food, but get in there and say, hey, I want to learn. And if you have recipes, get those recipes, copy them down, and learn how to make them. I'm here in LA, but my daughter will be cooking Thanksgiving at my house for her dad. So they're all going to get together, and I will have another Thanksgiving once I get back home the day after. But she calls and she says, Mom, how do you make your dressing? So really, all these years, you're still asking me how I make my dressing?
Because we just
You're not paying
enjoyed
attention,
the
so I had
perks of
to
sitting back.
go over that same recipe again. I've told her several times in the past, so I guess I'll have to write it down. And I do have some recipes typed up and written down in the folder, the ones that I'm generally accustomed of cooking on holidays. And Thanksgiving is probably the biggest holiday of the year. We're going to cook so much food. We have so much food, more than we should ever have for one meal. But that meal is going to last. You don't have to get up and cook the day after. You may have food for a whole week.
Yeah.
So that's the purpose of having a big meal, so you're not cooking. You prepare for it, you prep for it, and I've learned that you go a couple days ahead of time and prepare it. That way you can get everything done. I think my chicken is starting to brown a little bit. It's getting there. I think I better use this fork. But the whole purpose of me making a video that I've been wanting to do and been asked to do by one of my granddaughters, she said, "Grandma, you should do this, you know." I said, "Oh, well, maybe, you know." But to pass recipes down and to share recipes for anybody out there who wants to learn how to cook, you're newlywed, and you want to learn how to cook. Not that I say that I am a Martha Stewart or Miss Patty Bell, who's now cooking. There's so many chefs and cooks out there. But I can say when you taste your own food and you enjoy eating your own food, if you can't enjoy your own food or like your own food, no one else is going to enjoy your food. So you got to love your cooking for anybody else to love your cooking. So that's the idea of making it flavorful and taste well, so that when you taste it, it tastes good to you, then you know it's going to taste good to somebody else. And when I go out to restaurants or a party, I love recipes. I love everybody else's cooking. And if I find a good recipe, I can just about taste it and say, "Oh, I think she has this in it." I'll go home and I'll mimic it and I'll copy the recipe down. So, and we are not going to do a lot of baking and the peach cobbler. Let me show them the peach
I
cobbler.
was just thinking you said Patty LaBelle.
Yeah, I did mention Patty LaBelle. And so, I like her sweet potato pie, but I have not tasted her peach cobbler. So, Miss Patty, you are going to be on our table, your recipe, this Thanksgiving. And I have some pound cake also, and some ice cream. So, we're not going to get in. I'm not making my Texas sheet cake. I'll save that for another video. So, I do make Texas sheet cake. And it's going to take a little time, but I would like to make that because I learned that recipe is passed down by my mother-in-law. She made Texas sheet cake, and my oldest grandson, he was 5 years old when she passed away, but he remembers that Texas sheet cake. So he especially likes the Texas sheet cake. So when I make them, I have to make 2. And the only other person in the family, believe it or not, is my LA daughter here. She was the first one to make the Texas sheet cake. She taught me how to make it, so she and I both could make it. But the other ones have not really learned to make it or tried to make it. It's a little difficult, but not so hard, difficult that you can't learn how to make it. But I want to teach my grandson, the oldest one, because when I make it, I have to make 2 Texas sheet cake. Because if I don't, he'll try to take the whole cake, and they, the kids say, "Oh, that's not fair. He's getting the whole cake. He's taking it home." So I've learned to make his own and even give him a Texas sheet cake for his Christmas present, one of his Christmas presents. I was checking this chicken turned over. I'm flipping it 2 or 3 times here, trying to make sure that it's getting brown, or the brown consistency that I want. Trying to, and these are legs and chicken thighs. I do have some chicken that was purchased that's already cooked, so I'm only doing the chicken legs and the thighs. I'm making it easy as possible. So, in this skillet, as I said, I'm going to start the cabbage. It's going to be a fried, sauteed cabbage. And in the skillet already, I have my butter, just a little bit of oil, maybe a tablespoon of oil. And I'm probably not going to be able to get all of this cabbage into this skillet, but I'm going to maybe let it cook down for 10 minutes and add some more. Otherwise, I have to have 2 skillets going. But this is kind of a deep skillet. But I know it's not going to all get in here, but like I say, 10 minutes and it'll cook down. I'll add more on top. I should have cut this a little more, but that's okay. It's gonna cook down. I'll try to get this bunch in here. And if I see it's not cooking as fast as I want, I will maybe start another skillet of cabbage and then combine them. We'll add a little bit of water. You don't have to put much water in cabbage, because cabbage makes its own water. You just have to make sure that you watch it and it doesn't stick or burn until you get it cooked to where you want it. The consistency and the softness to where you want it. You're going to turn the fire back up to medium-high. I'm going to add another little bit of water here, because that water is going to steam it and help it to cook down more. Once it cooks down, I'm not going to add my other things like my onions and my peppers until that cooks down. I'm going to throw them down. I'm not going to even season it till it gets cooked down. A little more. The chicken is starting to brown a little more. You want to come up, show how the chicken is browning somewhere. The chicken now is starting to get a little more golden brown the way I want it. So now I'm going to turn it down just to a medium to make sure that those legs are cooking clear through, because legs are sometimes hard to cook all the way through. And if they don't cook all the way through, sometimes I'll even put them on a platter and stick them in the microwave to make sure, because nothing worse than having chicken and you see the blood running through the chicken. So if you ever have that, you can always continue to stick them in the microwave for 2 or 3 minutes, because the microwave will definitely cook those legs in the center. And I'm checking, and they look like they're cooking through pretty good. Hi, I'm just coming back on because I took the chicken out and the chicken did get done. It's nice and golden brown. And I've got it in a pan temporarily. I'm going to cover it up and set it aside. Let it cool down. And cover it up so that heat and moisture can make it even softer. As you can see, as I told you, the cabbage that I put in the pot is starting to melt down. See how it's melted down? It was overflowing. So I'm going to add some more cabbage. Steam it and add some more water. Turn this down to a medium. I'm going to add this cabbage, more cabbage, hoping that I can get most of it in here now. I'm going to add some more water, steam it down. I'll maybe leave the lid off. Getting there. I'm going to add some more water to this. I think I will put the lid back on it because that lid does shrink it, help shrink it. Probably another 5 minutes I can take and turn it just to medium so we can shrink it down. So you don't have to put a lot of water, but you want the water to not make it stick to the bottom of your pan, because I do have butter. And I also have a little oil, not much, because you don't want your cabbage to be real soaked with grease. Now I think I'm going to go ahead and start on that dressing that I've been putting off, complete it. And this year I'm going to use, instead of my traditional cream of chicken soup, I'm going to put cream of celery soup, since I have vegan. Because the cream of chicken does have a little meat in it. But I've got the cream of mushroom and the cream of celery in this pot. I'm going to add a half a cup of water because it's so thick. And I'm going to put a lid on it. And I'm going to let it cook down a little bit. To say, at home I have an electric stove, but my daughter has a gas stove. But I started out at home with a gas, and I know what gas cooking is. It's been a while since I used the gas stove, and there is a difference in the cooking, because the electric cooks a lot faster, and the gas is a little more controlled heat. You know, you can control it, turn it up or turn it down, but the gas, the electric, it heats up very fast. So I'm going to let this cream of mushroom soup, cream of celery soup. When you want, you can add cream of chicken, if that's your choice. One or the other, or both, or all three if you want. And I also have broth. I have the vegetable broth. It's the organic vegetable broth. When you're cooking for a vegan, you add the vegetable broth. And we were talking about the difference between vegan and vegetarian. So you know yourself, Kenya, that you only eat.
Yeah, I'm pescatarian actually, so I only eat fish.
Pescatarian. She eats the fish, but
Yeah. And then
She has
vegetarians would eat no meat at all.
vegetarians.
And then my niece, who's vegan, she won't be able to do the cream
Yeah,
of stuff because she doesn't do meat or doesn't
doesn't
do the
do
milk.
dairy,
So she doesn't
the
do
milk,
vegan
yeah.
is no animal products at all. So no
So-
eggs, no meat, milk, nothing, not just meat, but everything that comes from an animal.
I have some very strict eaters. And this all started with my daughter graduating from high school, and she has been
I was middle school. I was 13.
Middle school.
Yeah, I was 13.
Yeah. Her and some of your friends started vegan, right?
Nobody else, just me.
just-
Team did it to my
Uh-huh.
other cousin.
I
yeah.
can't remember why you wanted to.
Animal rights, remember? Don't you remember?
Right,
I was trying
right.
to
I
get
know
arrested.
you were big on animal rights.
I was
and
trying to get
there was
arrested.
no fur coats, no leather.
Yeah, I still don't do that. Yeah.
But that's the way it goes when you
Yeah.
have your own beliefs.
Yeah.
But she's been faithful to it. And, you know, not too many people will stick to things that they start. But
13, now I'm almost
Yeah.
50.
But once you start something and you stick to it, then you are really stern and very disciplined. I wish I could say the same for myself. Sometimes I'll go on a fast and I won't eat meat, but
And then our allergy.
yeah, we have a lot of
Issues are,
allergies in our family, eczema. So we inherited some of those traits. That really, I grew up, my brother, he had eczema so bad. Felt sorry for him, but he has outgrown his eczema quite a bit. So some people do outgrow it, and I do hope some of my younger grandsons outgrow theirs.
Eczema, asthma, eosinophilic disorders.
Yeah,
So, yeah, we got a lot in the house.
Yeah, my one grandson, he is eosinophilic. How can
Eosinophilic esophagitis.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so
we have to be very careful
Yeah.
not having nuts.
it's like your white cells, your eosinophils react to food as if it was a virus or bacteria, so it attacks his
So he
esophagus
has come a long
specifically.
way
Yeah.
in learning. He was 2 when he learned that he had it, right?
One.
One.
Mhm. Yep.
When the doctor discovered
Well,
that.
you're right. Of one, we noticed there's problems. It took till 2 till he was truly diagnosed.
Right.
But yeah, at
And
13 we're
so-
still on
Yeah.
formula for.
And
This goes in
the-
feeding
it's-
tubes, but he takes it orally. This is the
And
oral.
if you do have
straw.
someone that is that, then you
Yeah.
have to be extremely careful of
Cross
and watch them
contamination.
because
Yeah, that's why.
nuts, nuts can take you out of here if you have
Oh, that too. Yeah,
all
then
these
3 of
allergies.
us have nut allergies and have
Yeah.
EpiPen. So yeah, it's a lot in the
And,
house that she's having to
I
cook
had
for.
a cousin, as I came out to LA, I came for a very elegant all black tie wedding for a niece, and it was the most beautiful wedding I've ever attended. And I say she did it right. She had it organized, and I don't know for sure. It was over the top, so I know that was an expensive wedding, and one that you won't forget. But anyway, I extended my stay with my family, and I can cook Thanksgiving dinner and be here with my daughter, my grandkids, and her husband. And she is already earlier did a meal for my grandson because she knows how to prepare his foods very, very well.
Yeah,
So
he's
I
not
don't
really
want
on
to
formula.
contaminate
He's-
or,
Yeah, we had to cook at different times, so.
yeah, she knows how to cook his meals to the T. So now I'm going to turn this sauce off, and I'm hoping that I can get the rest of this cabbage back in the pot. And then I'm going to maybe try to take the knife.
Yeah, maybe I should say comment below if someone would want some videos on eosinophilic safe stuff.
Yes, if there's any information, she is a pro because she knows how to prepare his foods. She knows how to keep cross-contamination at bay. She knows when he's not feeling well and something's wrong, and she can pinpoint things very well. And that's part of her profession because she was in science. That was her major in school. And it's afforded her the medical background to a lot of different things in life. But she has my grandson's diet down to science now, her and her husband. And they all work together watching. And he himself has gotten old enough now that he knows what he can and can't eat. And he's a careful person himself. He'll ask, what's in that? Is this in there, Grandma? He is very attentive to what he eats now because he's gotten older. And he can read labels. And it's very, very important to read every label in the store. You know, you don't want to make sure.
Every time, 3 times. That's the rule. I said every label, every time, 3 times, because they change. The manufacturers change.
Right.
Suppliers change.
Some foods are even prepared in
you can't trust
other factories that they may not have nuts or milk or dairy in the product, but they prepared that product in the building itself. You know,
shared equipment.
They shared equipment, so you have to become almost an expert. You can write your own book on the subject, and I'm sure she will. But if anybody wants to know any information, feel free to comment, or you never know, someone in your family who has so many allergy issues, they may have this problem themselves, and you don't really know how many people. There's so many children with this condition, and adults, not only just children but adults as well, because my sister-in-law, is why I went to the wedding, she is extremely allergic to carrots. And as we were eating, she had her cell phone looking through a salad. She said, oh no, I'm checking this salad. I'm not going to anybody's hospital tonight because if there's carrots in here, it's going to wipe me out. She had a very severe allergic reaction to carrots. And you just never know what people are allergic to. So whenever you're having
not to...
It's
people think, oh, they're not in the kitchen or they won't see. It's okay.
No, if you have company and you're inviting to dinner, make sure you find out what they can and can't eat. That's I can't stress that enough because you don't know what people. Sometimes they don't know themselves what they're allergic to until they're attacked by something, until their immune system attacks them. And she at the wedding. There was a woman assistant who checked every food and made sure that nothing was prepared with carrots. But this cabbage, I got all the cabbage in there now. I'm glad of that. So now I can kind of stir it up and make sure. There's plenty of water still down there. And this water and this oil is going to cook down. And I really should now go ahead and add these. I don't always add yellow and red peppers, but a couple times I've cooked it with the red and yellow and the onions, and it really was tasty. So once the peppers and onions, you really can't tell that it is pepper and onions. It just gives it not a little flavor, but color as well. So we're going to cook that down. And once this cooks down, then I'm going to start. It does look pretty with all the colors. I'm going to let it cook down. I'm going to season it. And then I'm gonna add more butter. I'm gonna add a little minced okay, I've taken the sweet potatoes out of the oven. The chicken is done. The ham is just gonna be brown a little bit with the brown sugar and the pineapple tiplets on there. So it's getting there. The chicken. And I'm just gonna stick this back in the oven long enough to get that sauce melted down into the ham. Let's see here. So it looks pretty good with the brown sugar glaze and the pineapple tiplets. I drained the water juice off the tiplets, and then I added them on top of the ham. So I'm just gonna leave it in there a little bit because it's already done. And I'm going to cover the sweet potatoes up. They look good. I took a little spoon out to give it a taste test. So we're getting there. I've taken and I did the cream of mushroom winding down, but I wanted to taste what I do have cooked. So like I said, it's important. That's the number one step. You should always check your foods along the way to make sure that they're seasoned good. The sweet potatoes, buttery, nice and sweet, not overly sweet, perfect. Yes, I would be willing to serve this to anyone. I'll be satisfied that if it tastes good to me, if it tastes good to you, then it should taste very much the same to other people. Even though people have different taste buds, you know that it does have flavor and it tastes good. The cabbage, also I tasted. Just right. Just right. Seasoned enough. Your ham, the turkey, which isn't as brown as I would like to be, but I don't want to overcook it. It is done, and it does taste good. It's got a good flavor. And of course, I always like my potatoes, whether fried, mashed, done. The only complaint I have is this little ham I bought. It's a smoked ham. And I cooked it as directed. And I added this glaze, which I thought would be really good, but I'm not a big fan of this glaze. It's got brown sugar, vinegar, mustard seed, salt, which I don't like to have my ham too salty, because ham tends to be salty, but it has salt in this, hickory smoke flavor, turmeric, spices, and I think the glaze I'm not happy with, because it gave it a little more salty taste to me. Maybe my taste buds are off, but I let my granddaughter taste it, and she said, no, don't change anything, because I was going to make a brown sugar glaze and pour over it to see if I could take that saltiness out. So what I'll do is take what she would want out and kind of add a little bit. I think she'll like it either way, if I even add a little more brown sugar glaze and butter and pour over the ham before I heat it up. This is a little bit salty with the vinegar and salt added to that spice. Everything else, I'll give it a thumbs up. I'd be willing and proud to serve this as a dinner. The only thing right now that I'm going to assemble, I'm not going to cook it, I'm just going to assemble it, and I'm going to cover it, and I'm going to put it in the refrigerator until tomorrow. But let's say I did crumble this, I made this cornbread a little day earlier, got it crumbled up, buttered the dish, and I'm going to add some garlic powder to the dried cornbread. I'm going to add some sage. I'm going to take the lid off because this is not coming out. I'm not going to add a lot, but I'm going to add, ooh, huh. I'm going to add that. I'm going to add some poultry seasoning. Well, that's okay because, you know, there's a lot of crumbs in here. And once I put all the liquids in there, it's going to absorb in there. I'm going to stir it up. I'm going to add my total seasoning. Put a little bit of that. And going to add a little more garlic powder. I'm going to stir this, mix this in. Blend it all through the crumbs. And as I cook the vegetables, they look bad, but you know, those are vegetables that were sauteed and refrigerated. But they'll blend into the dressing. And I'm going to add the vegetables in. Got the vegetables. Don't want to waste food, you know. Try to get as much out as possible. Otherwise, I have to not let it go down in the sink. I'm going to spread these vegetables out and mix them in. I got the mixture of the broth, the celery soup. Like I say, I'm doing it a little bit different than I would normally do at home. I cook it a little bit different. I use different ingredients. I used the cream of chicken soup. And I had said this year I was going to make some side dressing with the meat. I usually not make it with meat because I have so many vegetarian guests, my children, grandchildren. So I'm getting this mixed in. Got it pretty well because I'm going to be stirring in, and I got the broth. I had the vegetable broth because, you know, a lot of times people use the chicken or the vegetable, or, you know, with vegans and vegetarians, so I'm going to use the vegetable broth. Got it added there in the soup. I'm going to stir this up because it's thick. And I'm probably going to have to add more of this broth. I cooked the soup, but I'm going to add this in because this broth is going to be cooked in anyway. I'm going to pour this in here. Stir it up a little bit. Just see how much I have to add more of. Like I say, I'm not going to put it in the oven because it's take a while to cool down. I got plenty of time to cook it. Getting it moist. You want the crumbs to be moist. You don't want them to be dry. And I got plenty of broth. And I even got more of the celery and cream of mushroom soup. Some people put eggs in it, but I'm not going to add the eggs because it holds together pretty good. I'm going to put that in there so I can stir it and get it all out. Making a mess here, but sometimes those messes really taste good. I got all the vegetables in there, the celery, the onions, the green peppers, and I had sauteed those until they were tender in the skillet before I added them to these dry ingredients. I'm going to add a little more broth. Because I'm probably going to have to add more in the morning anyway because of the fact that once I refrigerate it, all this is going to absorb. It's going to absorb into that. I'm going to add more seasonings into this also. Since I've added this liquid, I'm sure the liquid has made the taste different. And this is going to absorb. All these liquids are going to absorb. And even so, it's going to even make it even more flavorful because that flavor is going to soak in there overnight. So it might even taste better once it's done. You know, sometimes it doesn't look good when it's looking like this and moist, but once it's cooked and baked in the oven a little more, it's going to have a different flavor. I'm going to make sure that it's flavored to perfection before I put the final touches on it in the oven. I'm still seeing dry crumbs over here, so I gotta add more broth to that. You don't want a bunch of dry crumbs before you cook it. And some people make the dressing so far ahead, you can make it a month ahead and freeze it. Save yourself some time. I don't know, I don't like to really freeze it. I like it fresh. But they freeze it, bag it up. I'm just going to add a little more seasoning before I refrigerate it. It's pretty well moist. Got it stirred up pretty good. And like I say, once this bakes in the oven, this liquid is going to absorb in there. Just want to make sure that it is moist. I'm going to put some on the plate and see what it's tasting like, even though that's why I'm not putting eggs in it, because you got to taste it. I'm going to put a little more sage. And just a little more poultry. And I'm going to pour a little bit of liquid into that. good flavor. Like I say, everybody does dressing somewhat different. Some people add gizzards and turkey neck meat. They boil their gizzards, and they also boil their turkey meat, and then they cut the giblets up and take the turkey off the turkey neck, and they put it in their dressing. Some people use rice and walnuts. I'm not into that. Like I say, I have to be careful adding certain ingredients. Like for my grandson, he definitely can't eat nuts, as you know, people add certain things to theirs.
Yeah. You should have said earlier, if anybody has 5 or more allergies, that's when they tend to have a GI doc. Suggest you should get tested for an eosinophilic disorder. 5 or more food allergies, that is.
Because you never know, you know, some people just are more sensitive to things than others. So if you feel that you have so many allergies, you'll know. Your body will tell you. I can taste the poultry season. And like I say, that's why it's important to taste your foods. And you don't want to over add too much salt, because people can add their own salt. You don't want to make it too salty. Or, you know. But I'm satisfied. And see, this will be ready to go in the oven tomorrow. I don't have to wait up and let the dressing cool down. Because when you have glass shells in your refrigerator, you definitely, you know for a fact, you cannot put any hot food plates in the refrigerator on glass shelves, because they will crack. You're just gonna, that's asking for a disaster. Make sure. And even though it's cooled down, I'll usually take a dish towel, or I'll take one of the hot food pads, put down and put a towel, dish towel underneath any plates that I've cooked to make sure that they have cooled down. So that's it for now. And once everything is all done, I'll make a spread so everybody can see exactly what is been cooked and how it looks. You know, of course it's got to be heated up, but I will be making some macaroni and cheese and maybe one other dish. That way, when I'm gone and company's gone, my daughter can also freeze. She has plenty of containers, a great big box of containers there that she was gifted with. Containers with lids. She can take and put some of them in the food in the freezer if it's too much for them to eat. But she definitely won't have to cook for a few days. And like I say, what better way of having Thanksgiving when you up all night and up early in the morning and you don't have to cook for a couple of days. Anyway, thank you for listening, and I will continue with this video in the next segment. Good night. Welcome back to Char's Cooking for Thanksgiving this year in this California style. And remember, previously I have been preparing and prepping for this meal for a couple days, and now this is it. It's done. And this is a serious meal because it's like a smorgasbord meal, and it's vegan, vegetarian, and allergy safe allergies for all of the family members that are here that are getting ready to prepare to eat this meal. But I just want to elaborate on some of the things that are EE safe, that are vegan safe, and just a meal for everyone to eat. A sole meal that if you're not vegetarian or vegan, you can still eat this meal because it all ties in. But this meal here, here's the dressing that I showed you how I make. This is my mac and cheese. It turned out good. This was the turkey breast. I'm so used to making a great big turkey at home, and I cook my turkey all night, but this is a turkey breast because we have vegans and we didn't go overboard on making abundance of meat. This is the chicken. This is the small ham, and this is definitely a vegan ham. So you can purchase these in many stores. It's going to have some brown sugar on it when it's completed. But this is definitely a no meat ham. This is a salad, and this is going to be vinegar and oil, and they can put their tomatoes and onions and corn on there and black beans. This is also a vegan dressing, strictly vegan dressing. No eggs, no dairy. These are regular sweet potatoes. This is regular sweet potatoes. This is definitely a gluten-free apple pie.
And vegan?
Vegan and apple-free apple pie. This is vegan dressing. And this is just cake. And like I say, we're not cooking a lot of pastries like I usually do. I usually have baked sweet potato pie and Texas sheet cake at home, my traditional. But when I get back to Ohio, they're celebrating. They have already eaten because of the time difference. But when I get back home tomorrow, I will have some leftovers there. And there's plenty of leftovers going to be left here. Over here, excuse my back. Is vegan. It was cooked. This chicken was cooked.
That's not vegan, that's chicken.
This is chicken.
It's just
but
allergy
flour.
friendly.
This
Yeah,
is
gluten-free.
allergy safe, gluten-free chicken, and it's cooked in a special flour. And this is vegan macaroni and cheese with no eggs, no dairy. Mashed potatoes cooked in coconut milk, and of course spaghetti. For someone who has to eat special, that we make different things so that my grandson can get full like everyone else. But he's loving everything, he's tasting everything, and everything is to his yummy. He's giving a thumbs up. His mother's got everything cooked for him. But I enjoyed being here in LA for this Thanksgiving. I haven't been able to spend Thanksgiving with my LA family. I have my daughter and her husband, and my oldest granddaughter is joining us, and my other two granddaughter and grandson. So we're going to have a feast. We've been cooking for 2 days, and we're ready to dive in. I enjoyed doing this video, and I look forward to doing more videos in the future, showing you more of my home-cooked meals for my family, and it's all cooked up with love. This is Charlotte saying goodbye. Have a safe and happy Thanksgiving.